welcome to He Said, She Said, episode number 23. We are Luke and Sarah.
Some little shit shooting off fireworks.
I think the neighbor children have those pop things from 4th of July.
I'm sorry, continue.
We're in the sunroom this evening, broadcasting live. Well, no, recording live.
And late.
It's Sunday. Anyway, back to the intro.
Excuse me.
We like to get together, like Rama Lama Lama.
You're off the rails already.
I am. I was trying to do Grease, but I forgot the words. We go together like...
Rama Lama Lama.
What's our podcast about, honey? It's about Grease, the musical.
Yeah, we changed themes. It is now in appreciation of Grease, where every episode we're going to be dissecting either a scene or a song from Grease, the movie. And then occasionally we'll do episodes of Grease 2, What Went Wrong, a retrospective.
Awful.
No. Do you really want me to answer?
It's a relationship podcast, people. You know this by now.
We've been super busy, so...
We have no time for intros.
Now remember what the great Stan Lee said.
Every comic book could be someone's first comic book.
Right. So don't assume.
I know.
So maybe they didn't read this comic book.
Anyway, we're here. We're going to talk to you all.
We're here. Fuck off.
About things and stuff. We have a listener question tonight. Thank you, listener. We love you.
Also, we are on a strict time budget, so this might be our shortest episode to date because Game of Thrones starts in like 40 minutes.
Right. We got to get on that because we had a very busy weekend, and I need to be punctual with my bedtime.
2 weeks, actually.
Righto. Lots of fun things. I spent a lot of extended time this past week by myself with other adults. It was very nice, and I really appreciate.
2 weeks.
What was?
Oh, by yourself.
I don't really remember what I did last weekend.
No, because last weekend we didn't do anything because we didn't record because I was gone Friday.
We went to the wedding.
Then we had a wedding on Saturday.
Super fun.
It was super fun, but also it's the first wedding I've ever been to that had like a real band. Mm-hmm. And it was a super cool band called Larry Lee and the Back in the Day Band. I think they're out of Detroit.
Yeah, they were amazing.
They were really good. So if anybody needs a wedding band, Larry Lee and the Back in the Day Band.
Yeah, they were great.
So it was my boss's wedding, and it was a nice wedding.
It was.
It was a reception. Food was good. Free drinks.
I had a good time. We were talking about trying to go out in our little downtown afterwards, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to drink anymore.
At that point, I'd already had like 5 beers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that.
So it was a fun night.
Yeah. So then, and I think Sunday, we just after yard work and stuff, we're just like, no. And then this weekend we had you had 2 days of adult.
I went to a concert on Thursday.
What concert?
It was Jimmy Eat World and Incubus. It was really fun.
Pardon me. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I can't think of any more Incubus puns. I just wanted to say pardon me. You may continue.
It rained. It was still fun. I mean, okay, so back, a little bit of details about my young years. I was a very large Incubus fan in high school. I saw them, I can't tell you how many times. I don't remember. I met them,
times.
probably. I met them a couple of different times. It was always the best night of my life. Whenever we go to these shows, they were always so much fun. And I wasn't even drunk because I wasn't old enough to drink. So I think that kind of, those rose-colored glasses of my youth, it was a little hard because they played a lot of new stuff, and I don't listen to their new stuff. So Jimmy Eat World, though, I will say, I don't know a ton of their music. They are amazing live. Like, they put on a really good show.
I only know the 2 songs.
I wish I knew more. Like, I know a few others besides the Sweetness and the Middle. And the Sweetness is the...
And the one that's...
Yeah. The Sweetness. It's called The Sweetness.
It's much better if I just audio illustrate.
No, it's not. But anyway, that was
you
good.
You said something, I know this doesn't matter towards our podcast, but you said something about, like, one of the members of Incubus, they had, like, a bad split, so they don't really do a lot of the old stuff.
Right after Morning View came out. That was in, like, 2003, I think.
Nobody in this room is going to verify.
Mike left the band. I think he was the guitar player or bass player. I can't remember. Luke's going to look it up. He left the band, and come to find out, he was a really good songwriter and wrote a lot of the songs by them I really liked, so they don't play those anymore. So that kind of stinks, but it was overall, I had so much fun. And then Friday night, I got to hang out with my BFF. Hi, Shelby. It was for her birthday, which was like 2 weeks ago, but we're busy people. So we got together, we shopped, we ate. It was awesome.
The bass player. Alex Dirk Lance Katunich.
I thought his name was Mike.
Mike is the guitar player who's still there.
Sorry, Mike.
Remember I said, like, he's the froey, doofy looking one? I
was totally, like, screaming, "Fuck you, Mike," because he left the band. Not really screaming, but...
How dare you? That guy's probably like, I'm still here. Anyway.
I was not close enough for him to hear me. It was a good time. And last night we went out to the
my sister's
Beer Olympics.
My sister and her husband have taken over... what do you call that?
They like to host parties.
Well, they've taken over the hosting duties of the annual Beer Olympics, which was started by my cousin, but he got sick of it because it sounds like fun, but you have to corral a bunch of drunks to like I helped just a little bit of like, hey, you're in the bronze medal round, you need to go here, and it's just a bunch of like dumb games. Like there's bocce ball golf, and they had a home run derby with a wiffle ball. And then there's this, like, basketball shooting thing. And then there was this, like, frisbee toss where they made a target. If I have one complaint, it's that I'm terrible at both baseball and basketball. A little unfair. And I came one measly point away from medaling in bocce golf.
Well, you have to think about it this way. The host house will have a sway on, like, what are they equipped to have as
you're saying
options.
There's a bias in the host.
Well, yeah, because they have a wiffle ball.
Who won the overall count?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention because I don't care.
He's the host.
Anyway, we had lots of fun, exciting things happen, and today we were at home and feeling very tired, but still did our not middle age, good Lord, our domestic duties of laundry, and Luke power washed the house.
It's kind of fun. If I may have an old person conversation for just a second.
You get 30 of them. Go.
So I mowed the lawn and stuff, and power washing the house was like slightly fulfilling of like neat. It's like you see the beginning in our house just from us mowing the lawn and shooting grass and shit at it. And we live next to a educational facility that also mows their lawn and shoots shit at it.
Giant, like, stand-up lawnmowers.
One side of our house was like green and gooey and shit, and like now it's white again.
And it's nice.
It's just good. I got to go back over it again because I learned as I went. But don't make fun of me. I'm trying to sit.
It's helping me sit up straight too.
So anyway, that's my week. So I think we should move on to our question.
We should move on. I will say one more teeny tiny thing I observed on all this solo time I had, because it was this is the third Saturday we've been out, the two of us. It's an excellent thing. If you can swing that occasionally, going out every weekend for a few weekends with your spouse, do it. It's good for your relationship to connect that much. I know it's definitely not always possible for us, so it's hard to do, but still. And my other observation was I appreciate being by myself with other adults so much more.
Oh, not me. I just want to be by myself.
Since becoming a parent. Like, I appreciate going out to eat places with other adults and not having to worry about children and just the conversation and everything. Although yesterday was weird because it was the first time I'd been around Luke's family without Sydney since she's been born. That was really weird. I kind of felt like I didn't know how to talk in longer than 2 and 3 minute sentences at a time. So, just a couple little things. So we're going to move right into our question for tonight. It comes from our email. If you did have a question and wanted to reach out, that email is hesaidshesaiedpc@gmail.com. Or we're on Facebook, He Said, She Said Podcast, or Instagram at He Said, She Said PC. So definitely shoot us a message if you have a question.
Shoot us.
Do you want to read the question, or would you like me to?
You go ahead.
Okay. So the subject of this question is parenting question. How specific? I'm kidding. We appreciate you, listener. It says, greetings. I just started listening a couple episodes ago, and I have been enjoying the podcast. I have a question. My husband and I are in our mid-20s and happily married for 3 years. We both have decent jobs and feel we might be finally ready to start a family. Our problem is we are planners and still don't feel secure enough to have a baby. Besides money, it's a huge mental step to become responsible for an actual human being. Wow! I like the wow. So my question is, how do you know when you're ready to become a parent? Thank you. Keep up the good work. May I please have a name from Harry Potter? Of course you can. I like this listener already.
What's Ron's mom's name?
Ginny Weasley with a G-I.
That's his sister, his mom.
Oh,
Molly?
crap. Molly. We'll call her Molly. Not to age her, but...
How about we call her Molly Weasley? But okay. You have to say it like that.
You have to say it like that every time we need to say her name.
Okay,
so we're going to call you Molly Weasley, Mrs. Weasley, Mama
sure
Weasley. Yes, it's Molly.
Okay.
I can hear Mr. Weasley saying her name in my head.
Oh, Molly.
Not like that. Ew.
Come to bed.
So, this is a great question. We really appreciate you.
And the answer is, you don't know when you're ready. That's all, folks. See you next week.
Time for Game of Thrones. No. So, do you want to go first or you want me to? Because I
have a much longer story.
Do you really?
Should we first tell the story of our journey?
That's what I was thinking. That's where I was going to go. I was going to
start from the beginning, and that starts with me.
Okay. We're at 12 minutes right now.
All right.
You have till 22 to get to when I get to start talking.
Right. I was born metropolitan city of Columbus, Ohio.
We can't start that far back, honey.
Oh, okay. So I've had the experience of planning and not planning. Twice, actually.
Twice not planning.
Yeah,
once planning.
I had a bit of a misspent youth and was very irresponsible. I don't know the best word to put it. Like, I wasn't stupid, but I was dumb. I can't think of a better.
You're a smart person who did not make smart choices.
Right. I think I had a lot of problems with my identity. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to be or anything. I didn't know who I was, and I think a lot of that made me make stupid decisions. Anyway, it's my fault because I'm stupid.
You weren't stupid. You were a smart person who did not make smart decisions.
Right. So I had 2 out-of-wedlock children that were completely unplanned.
How old were you when they were born?
Number 1, I was 20.
You had just turned 20.
Right. Number 2 was 24, I think.
Don't look at me.
It's so funny. Like,
yes,
you know the years.
You turned 24 that year. Because,
like, you know the years, but it's like, you can count the years all you want, but the only thing you're paying attention to at that very moment is the child.
Right.
And you forget about you.
Well, you were born in 82. She was born in 06. 24.
So
keep going.
There were some consequences of those unplanned children. And that, so you, even being cognizant of the planning process makes you way farther ahead than I was the first time.
Yeah, the fact that you're thinking about, like, you're like, oh, I feel ready, but at the same time I don't. The fact that you're aware of that statement right there, you're in a good place.
And I mean, shoot, I would love to know an actual percentage of, like, kids in this country that are unplanned. Like, I know even, like, well-to-do people can have unplanned pregnancies,
right.
But there's a great many of them that are just not educated with, like, they don't have a reproductive education.
And they're have
not
access
educated
to,
on
like,
safe
birth
sex.
control.
Yeah. And so a lot of lower class people have don't have access to any of that.
And if anyone listening doesn't know where to turn, go to Planned Parenthood while you still can. And
right.
They will help you out.
Matter of fact, I used Planned Parenthood during the second child The first couple of visits were to Planned Parenthood, and they were very helpful. I honestly don't remember if it cost me any more than like $30 or $40. Planned Parenthood does some great things, and even if you just have questions, like you can literally go to their office and say, "I need to talk to somebody about."
If you just need a exam, like if you need a checkup, and you don't know where, like, oh, I don't know, I don't have insurance, just go there.
People paint them as this like big evil organizations that just runs around poking people, giving them abortions left and right. Like, that's not what it is. Like,
That's really, I know this is a very serious topic, but you should have seen Luke's.
I was mimicking like I was holding like a poker and each stick.
Like a little pokey
I'm running
stick
down the street just
hands.
searching out women.
It's pretty funny.
I'm just going like, yeah. Like, don't be an idiot. That's not what Planned Parenthood does. And if you think that's what they do, you're an idiot. Go ahead and stop listening.
Like, you can turn us off now.
You're not going to... You're not our target audience anyway,
right?
Because you don't need help because you know everything.
Anyway,
but Planned Parenthood was a big help there. They helped me to plan. However, like doing it off the cuff when you don't have a good job and like relationship's not exactly in a good place and. Like myself emotionally, dumb idea. Didn't go so well. I mean, they're good kids now, but like, I kind of feel bad still, like not being able to provide them with the things that our youngest now, the things she gets from us.
Oh, having both parents in the household.
Well, no,
correct.
not just that, but like, I'm much better off than I was then. Like, I'm literally like. And this isn't saying much.
One of them you do get to provide those things for now.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like...
And financially, you provide the other one quite a bit.
Money-wise, like, I didn't have shit back then.
Right.
And now we have shit. And
lots of
it's, like, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it, like... What's that saying for running? You told me it once.
Oh, it doesn't get easier, you get better.
Yeah, like, it's always... It's something like that. Like, it's always going to be hard... But you just get better at it.
You get used to it. And in the life analogy, you make more money eventually.
That leads into, or I guess that's just to illustrate, like, I was completely and utterly unprepared and still made it work with my first two. And the second of the first two, like, it lives with us now. And she's a great kid. And she's adjusted... to all
I will
life's
say,
little curveballs.
The parenting of your two oldest children, there was a very strong support system of grandparents at play. That is something that if you're feeling a little concerned, keep that in mind. If your in-laws and your parents are nearby, use them to your greatest ability. If you're in a good place with them. Like, sometimes I know, like, us personally right now, we're distanced a little bit from both of ours, but we still have really great relationships.
Actual distance. Not like,
right.
We're at distance right now.
I mean,
sorry.
We both, I don't know how to word this. I won't go there. But they both help us with the grandkids quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's great. And we still live our life separately, like not in the same town as them, but keep them in your back pocket if you have them there. I don't
think we've told this story on the podcast. I know we told it recently to a person, but I don't think we're recording it.
I can't remember. I tried to look at them, but...
I would like to share the story of when the chat about Sydney, our youngest,
we talked about this. Yeah.
I don't remember the context.
It just came up.
Oh, well,
I think it might have been the step parenting episode.
Oh, well, long story short, I wasn't snooping, but I happened to see Sarah's had a text message. She left her phone open, which I think you did subconsciously.
I was drunk.
And
it was Christmas.
It was a conversation talking to one of our friends about, like, she wants a baby and she doesn't know how to tell me because at the time I was like, I don't want any more kids.
Well, and
they've been nothing but trouble.
You need to let me talk. Let me do this, please. Okay. Up until that point, you didn't think anything other of me because I wasn't the type of girl who thought she'd get married and then have kids.
Not that type of girl
either. So I don't know. It just wasn't something I ever saw for myself for a really long time.
The dog was pooping. Sorry.
Try to talk about something that's really like, it's okay. So I spent all these years of my life thinking, I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to have kids.
But it's hard to
He's so distracted by the dog walking by that's pooping.
That's his second go.
Anyway, I didn't want kids. One day I decided I did.
You didn't decide.
You saw a text message, and then we talked about it eventually.
No, we didn't talk about it. I messed with you for a little bit.
I don't even remember that.
What? No.
It was. Well, here's the punchline, because we're getting way off track here.
We still got time.
This was years before we actually started trying to have a child.
But then we had a conversation, and I'm just like, I'm not in a economic position where I feel.
We weren't in a home position. Like, our house wasn't big enough. There was some other stuff going on with the oldest, and I wasn't in the spot where I'm like, no, I want to do this right now. It was, no, I think I'm ready to like talk about doing this, because being someone who never talked about doing it for the first half of her life, you were still looking at the dog.
No, I'm not. I'm listening to you, honestly.
So
I'm staring at that bush, actually.
It was a lot of contemplation for me. But my point is, let's fast forward to when we did, like, we moved back to where we live now.
I finally got hired on to, like, I wouldn't call it a dream job, but it's one of those jobs. It's a destination job for people in my industry.
I'm trying to remember. The year that, I know. No, the year, so it was the beginning of 2014, and it had come up before we moved early in that year, that you wanted to start trying then. And I was like, no, because I had signed up for the Air Force half marathon on my 30th birthday.
And you said after the marathon, and we planned that far ahead of time.
Yeah, like, I said, there's no way and then we moved, and I was like, I don't want to be conceiving our child in the house we were living in at the time, because it was a bad, that was bad juju. So once we moved back here, and I got my marathon, or my half marathon.
Got a marathon on.
Done. I always said I kind of set my body image self up for failure, because I was in probably the best shape of my entire life, period, directly before we started trying to have a child. Granted, my pregnancy was amazing. I didn't have any issues, but haven't quite gotten back to that shape yet. Probably because I don't run like 20 miles a week right now.
Right. So we're just illustrating, like, that's how far ahead we planned.
Right.
So,
and we still didn't. When it actually happened.
Now let's talk about the conception of the child.
Right. I went off the pill in September.
Oh, I was kidding.
No, it's a legit thing.
I know, but we need to fast forward.
I know, but I want to prepare her. If you're on the pill, don't be surprised if you go off the pill and you are pregnant within months. I have been surrounded by a lovely group of ladies, friends of mine, who have unfortunately all had a lot of fertility issues. So in my subconscious mind, I'm like, this is going to take 6 months at minimum.
And I told her,
no.
Nope. And it was October when it was.
I think we're going to have to go over 8:45 a little bit.
We'll be fine.
I want to give this listener a good answer, so I don't want us to rush too much. Continue.
But we started trying in October, and we had our first positive test, January or February?
It was the beginning of February, like February 1.
So I'm very good at what I do.
It's not what you said, it's how you said it.
So there we are.
Yeah.
Preparing.
Well, I was freaked the fuck out, because I was like, that was too quick. I need more time.
Right, so
too late. There's no going back now.
I was temping at a very good job at a very good rate. And they had recently been hired on because they were like, you did such a good job. We want you here full time.
No, they didn't do that until April.
I'm not saying it happened immediately.
Oh, I thought you meant before I was pregnant.
You are pregnant and you gave birth.
Okay. Well, the week I found out I was pregnant, I found out my office was closing.
So that's fun.
Well, that illustrates the point that you can feel completely prepared in your life, and then something might change to completely derail that feeling.
Right.
And it's scary and terrifying, but you don't get too hung up on feeling 100% ready, because you never will, and shit can happen if you do feel 100% ready, things will happen in life that will make you feel all crazy.
And while Sara parlayed that bad thing into a new position, and
which I'm still in.
Right, that made it work. So all was well and good.
Right.
Until about 2 months, 6 weeks. About 6 weeks before Sydney was born.
Yeah,
of August.
It was, yeah.
I get called into the HR office at where I was working. And mind you, I'm still a little bitter because this is the place that had literally just hired me on full time.
Meh.
And like they fought for a spot for me. And also gave me an award of excellence that also had a monetary prize attached to it. And it's as happened, somebody in middle management came through and was told, you need to cut your budget by 2.5%. And instead of doing any work to make their products better, they said, we'll just fire people. So I was one of those people. And I was one of many, many, many people. And it was a really shitty situation. And like I was dumbfounded in that.
It was a Tuesday.
Yeah. I was in that HR office just like, if I didn't respect the two people that was in the room with, because I knew one of them, he'd only been the HR person for not too long, but the other one, like, she kind of like fought for me and really wanted me in the department. They couldn't do anything, so it's no use yelling at them, but I so badly wanted to just scream, like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
You told them, you were like, you realize my wife is like about to have a baby.
Yes, I did.
I thought you did.
But there's nothing they could do about it.
No, and I know that, but just to kind of make them feel worse.
They were like, we'll absolutely give you a good recommendation. You're totally eligible
and they did,
for
you had a really
job
good
stuff.
Severance package. They did.
Honestly.
I mean.
It was a month.
They couldn't they didn't have to give you anything.
Yeah,
you had only been a full-time employee for like 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think you probably weren't guaranteed anything.
Could have given me my vacation back. I mean,
that they could have done.
I think they could do a little. If you're an employer out there listening, cut some people some goddamn slack when you're about to ruin their life. Like, fucking come on.
For the foreseeable future.
It took me years to find that job.
Right.
And, like, I left retail to work another job that I hated, but it was in my industry. And, like, I stuck it out there for 2 years looking for a good job. And then, like, this job, I was like, God, I've arrived. This is great.
I mean, you were headhunted for that job.
Right.
You didn't even have to apply.
Me.
They found you.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Cut you loose like dummies.
That really sucks. Oh, yeah, and then they freelanced me at a greatly inflated rate.
But anyway...
Point being, just when you think you're planned... But
you're very capable people, we can tell from your question. As soon as this happened to us, you know what we did? We banked as much as we possibly could. And that with the severance, with the unemployment, as soon as he could file for that, he did. We were okay. And the sunny side of all of that was... You got to be there for...
I was there for almost
my whole maternity leave and then some. And that was a good thing because...
she was born...
I had a hard time.
In October, and I didn't go back to work till, March?
Yeah. It was good that he was there. You were supposed to be there because I had a really hard time when Sydney was in that fourth trimester is what they call it now. Like, those first 3 months of the baby's life.
Yeah. That kid started as a... hard-headed.
She wasn't that bad.
No.
I feel like there's
like,
probably worse.
She is a child that knows what she wants.
Right.
And, like, even in infancy now, you can kind of see her little personality where you're
I thought about that.
You're like,
it wasn't anything we were doing or not
doing. Us from day one.
Yeah. But, yeah, she's great now.
So, long story short, yes, you can plan to a point, but, like, even the thought of your thoughts that you're having now about, like, is it the right time? Is this and that? You're way ahead of many, many, many other people.
Exactly. And if you're still feeling reservations, just talk to your husband about it. Like, I'm sure he probably feels exactly the same. It's scary. Molly. I had I had a different experience altogether, too, because I went into this knowing that Luke had... parented newborns already. So I'm like, he has some experience with this. So that made me feel a lot better. Probably not the case for you, and that's okay. But use your support system. Yeah. Really do. Talk to your mom. Talk to your mother-in-law. Talk to your friends. If you have friends who have had kids.
And not to try to dissuade you, but, like, it is a huge thing.
It is.
You are bringing a person into this world.
And your life will never be the same. No. But then again, your life will change regardless of if you have this child or not. So,
and you can do that whole thing of, like, let's wait a year and blah, blah, blah. But then at the end of that year, you can be like, well, shit, our kid would have been 3 months old by now.
Right.
You know what I mean? The further you put it off, like, you're just delaying the inevitable.
If there is any, like, big thing you want to do on your own, like a hiking trip or a marathon or a crazy trip to, like, Italy, do that. Like, honestly, if there's something you're feeling super strongly
you can
about,
afford it.
do it while you can afford it.
Those little leeches are going to take all your money.
You could be you could be one of those cool, crazy people who, like, take infants traveling. Some people do that. That's not really our jam.
I mean, you're a fool if you do that, but whatever.
But, like, you're never going to be 100% ready. And if you were waiting for that, then you probably shouldn't have the kid at all, because there's days right now in my life that I'm like, I'm not ready to be a parent yet today, but I have to get up and do it anyway.
And then she does some cute as shit, and you're like, okay.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like, when you're, like, laying in bed and she's making noise and she's not crying. She just likes to talk. And I'm like, but I'm not ready to get up and parent yet.
She'll go,
I need 5 more minutes. Yeah.
She's like a little siren.
So, and then you get up anyway and you just do it anyway. So, I mean, bottom line, you'll be fine. Everyone else has felt exactly the same, and everyone else has been scared shitless. And you'll have days once they're here that you're still scared.
Oh, yeah. We'll expect a question from you a year from now. Our newborn's being an asshole. What do I do? Tune in next week where we answer your question. Where we talk about cluster feeding.
I'm trying to think if we missed any major points in this journey.
I think the big point is, like, you can never be 100% ready, and the fact that you're preparing at all puts you ahead of the game.
Right.
Always be willing to take help from other people.
Also remind yourself that lots of really dumb people have kids all the time, and they're just fine. Like,
there's smart kids that come from dumb people.
There are, and like you want to reproduce because you're a smart woman, Molly Weasley. You listen to us, so we know that you're smart.
You've already had like 62 Weasley children, so you know you're on the right track, and they were all good.
But
Percy was a bit of a wiener.
He was, but he redeemed himself in Deathly Hallows. No, part 2. Well, the movie, the book, you know, blah, blah. Anyway, you totally messed me up. Oh, remind yourself that people not as smart as you keep tiny humans alive every day. I know it sounds kind of funny and condescending at the same time. I thought that so much when Sydney was a newborn. I didn't have the best experience when she was tiny because I had postpartum anxiety pretty bad, we come to find out, which isn't in the DSM-6, whatever it's DSM, just the mental health thing that lists out all the different conditions. They code it as adjustment disorder with anxiety and depression, but it's postpartum anxiety. They're going to try and get it in there soon. So if you do have a baby and you're feeling extra stressed once they're here, like more so than the normal, what they call baby blues, which usually only lasts like a week or two right after they're born. If it's every day, if it's excessive crying, like worrying constantly that like you're going to drop them or they're going to die, reach out, seek help. We're not professionals. But you're not pregnant yet, so you don't have to worry about that.
Speaking of us not being professionals, make sure that you tell 2 people and tell them to tell 2 to 5 people so that we can be professionals. Then you can sue us if we're
When we
wrong.
get that sweet, sweet podcasting money, we'll go back to college, become counselors. Ooh, that would be fun. He said, she said, doctors edition. We would counsel couples together.
Doctors.
Do they do that in real life? Or is that just in movies? Where like a married couple is the counselors of like a married couple?
If that's what the couple asked for. I guess.
Cool.
I've got nothing else.
Well, everyone knows we're watching Game of Thrones, so there's that. I'm also watching Ozark on Netflix. Check it out. It's funny.
And I started watching The Wire.
So, I think we're good. This is a little mini-sode. Find us online, He Said, She Said, PC@gmail.com, at He Said, She Said, PC on Instagram, or He Said, She Said podcast on the Facebook. I think we're done here.
Yep. Enjoy Game of Thrones.
If you watch it. If not, enjoy the rest of your Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Send us your questions or if you have a funny story or whatever the hell else.
Thanks for listening. We do appreciate you all.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.